Good morning, everybody. I It's Friday, and that's a good thing. Fridays is my hustle day, so I'm coming to you live. But after I finish, I've got to go and handle other business because I stay busy 24/7 sometimes. But I enjoy this, and I am so happy y'all are coming to hear my messages. I seen one of my videos and I had 1.3, I think, viewed the video, and I was just tickled to death. Um, I enjoy this, and I hope y'all listening enjoy me too, because I definitely appreciate you coming to listen to my YouTube show. This brings me great joy. My I was thinking to myself, uh, I'm here to share things that I know that will help benefit some people. It ain't gonna benefit everybody, but for those out there that it benefit, take what you can that will help you, and what you don't think will help you, then you just leave it alone. Um, it's just like going to church. When the preacher's preaching, I take part of what I need, and what I don't need, I leave it there. It's not for me. But my goal here is to uh, share with some people that this show is for, because it may not be for everybody. But if it's for you, tap in and listen, because it may be something that you don't know. And I just want to bring awareness. And it starts with if you don't know, then you're not responsible. But things we do know to do better, we are responsible. So I just really want to take some time out and bring awareness, because we some things we just don't think about, and we go day to day and we're not even thinking um, what our children are experiencing in school, or what our coworkers may be going through at work. Uh, and that's the topic that I'm bringing today, about bullying. It's got to stop. Uh, we're going into a new year of school. So I'm challenging all the parents out here to be mindful, have the conversation with your child. If you at work and you're seeing bullying, have this conversation with the supervisor, somebody up in management, because it needs to stop. Too many people are getting hurt, and we look at it as a joke, but it's not a joke. You don't know what the other person is feeling inside. It could lead to suicide. It could lead to low grades at school, because somebody is getting picked on and nobody's saying anything. Uh, I challenge the teachers, the principals at school. Stop it. That's your job. You are responsible for our children. And if you can't stop the bullying that's going on in your classrooms, and you hear about it or you're seeing it and you're not stopping it, then you don't need to be a teacher. I'm sorry. You just don't need to be a teacher. Just go home, find another field. That's not your field. But our children are important. All of the children are important, not just half the children. All of them are important. So if you see bullying going on at school, stop it. It's not funny. It could cost somebody their life. And that's why I'm coming to you today about bullying, and having the conversation. Let's have it. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation with our children. That's something that we don't do, because your child could be getting bullied. Do you know if your child is getting bullied? And if you do know, what are you doing to resolve this issue? What is the school doing to resolve it? What is the principal doing? because somebody needs to be doing something to resolve the issue. And parents, I challenge you to get involved with your children's lives, get to know them, leave the door open so they can come and tell you if something's going on in school. Uh, you have to leave that door open. You got to have a communication with your child so they are not afraid to come tell you everything that's going on in their lives, whether it's good or bad. Leave that door open. Talk to them. Try to find out what's going on in their everyday life, what's going on in school. Take the time out of your day to love on your children. And I know you're busy because everybody has to work, or you're in school, or you're doing other things that sometimes we forget about our children. Not that we mean to, but it happens because you got so much on your plate. So I'm challenging you to take that time over the weekend, have the conversation, and leave that door open so if your child is being bullied, that you are aware of it. If the teachers that are on here, if you're seeing bullying in your class, stop it. If you're a principal, is administrative at schools, uh, I'm challenging y'all to take better responsibility because our children are in school to learn, and they can't learn if they're having behavior problems or it's too much going on in the school and in the class that the teachers can't teach because your child over here showing out. If you know your child is a bully, you need to handle that at home. You need to stop them and let them know that this is not the way. We're not doing this in our house. Uh, you have to set the guidelines of your house. Your children don't run your house. You run your house. You're the parent. So it's up to you to take control. If your child is being bullying people at home, 9 times they're doing it in school. Stop them. You see what they're doing. Uh, and sometimes you don't know what your child is doing behind your back. But that's still your responsibility to find out. You're the adult. Find out what your children are doing and make sure they're not out here bullying other students. And if you bullying people on your job, stop it. I challenge you to stop it because it's not funny. You at work to work and be productive. You're not at work to pick on other coworkers. So I'm challenging both school and work. Um, is it a social? Is bullying a social problem? Well, I wanted to talk about that too. It says that the definition of social problem is any condition or behavior that has negative consequence for a large number of people, that is generally recognized as a condition or a behavior that needs to be addressed. And that is cited by Rubenton and Weinberg, 2010. And so I want to talk about that a little more, about social problems in our society that we are faced. And I know that bullying is one of them. I do know that it can lead to um, our children not doing good in school. And we need for our children to bring up test scores this year, especially in predominant African American schools. I did my dissertation on African American high schools. And so what I did found out is that poor school performance is shown when a percentage of students in a school achieve low or below normal scores compared to the required scores based on grade level standards nationwide. And that's Davis 2019. Poor academic performance by some students who are struggling in school could be a result of various other factors: below average intelligence, emotional problems. It can also social cultural home environment, problems at school, medical problems, psychiatric disorders. So children behavior issues can come from a number of reasons. And that's why I say if you feel like your child needs help, take them to their primary care physician and address those issues. I would like to see more African American high schools, predominant African American high schools, grades increase. Our students need to be doing better in school than what they're doing, and right now they're failing. And so I will probably touch on that a lot, why children are failing in school and not succeeding. But I also would touch on all races, because it don't only apply to African American races, it applies to Caucasian, Hispanic. I don't care what you are. It applies to you. If your child is struggling in school, then you need this message. You have to find out why they're struggling in school. Is it bullying going on? You have to single out things to find out what's going on. Do they need their eyes checked? There could be a number of things why children are failing in school. If your child is on the A road, then this conversation is not for you. Don't get offended. I'm talking about the children that are failing. And what can we do to help them succeed? And that's where I'm at, is getting children to succeed and do better in school. Bullying is a contributing factor of why children aren't doing good in school, just like summer learning loss I talked about last week. So if you didn't hear that video, I would suggest that you go back and listen to it. Summer learning loss, why are our children failing? Especially if they didn't do anything during the summer, it can contribute to them having summer learning loss. So I did a video on that. So go back and sort of look at some of my previous videos. But right now I want to talk about bullying, because that's a big factor, and our children are going back to school and the kids are all hyped up, and you got this one over here picking at this one because they didn't get anything new, but yet you got new stuff. And we need to address those issues, because parents can only afford what they can afford. So if that child is coming to school and they don't have anything new, it's not the child's fault. Their parents just couldn't afford it. So don't pick on that child. If you're doing good and you're looking good, then that's okay. But don't pick on people because they do not meet your standards, because it can lead to them having underlying issues, underlying problems. It can lead to them failing because they feel like they're tired of getting picked on. And that's something that we need to address in our society. It's not only in school, but it's in the workplace too. And what are we doing? If you're a supervisor, what are you doing to stop bullying on your job? I mean, you're a supervisor. You're the manager of a CEO. What are you doing to stop bullying in the workplace? So this is not only about children, it's about the workforce too. Um, Somebody had told me something about a week ago about this guy that was bullied at work, and the guy came in and shot him on the work at work, and I'm like, wow, that sort of bothered me for about 2 days because I was like, this is in my city. Are you kidding me? And bullying is happening in the workforce. And I'm like, well, did the supervisor know about it? That was my first thing. Did management know that this guy was being bullied? And I don't know. I'm quite sure a lot of co-workers knew and nobody said anything. We've got to stop that. It's not funny. Say something. Tell a supervisor, tell a manager. Even if you see it and it's not you, please tell somebody because it's important that we do that. Um, we can't keep allowing this to happen and we see it. We're obligated to say something, even as a bystander. Because if you're not saying nothing, then you're part of the problem too. Um, but from what I had picked up, and it actually hit the news here, they put everybody out of work for a whole week and had to pay them because you got Joe body over here laying on the floor and your fragments flying throughout the department. From my knowledge, they got into a fight on the floor, and the bigger guy was the one that was bullying the little guy. And the little guy, after the fight, the little guy went out in his car and got a gun and went in and shot him in the plant. And I was like, whoa, that just went over my head. Because I was like, wow, this is crazy, you know. And all I could think was, did anybody know that this guy was getting bullied? And nobody done anything. Nobody said anything. And it got to the point that now here you are facing jail time because nobody said anything. And it had been going on a while. And I'm like, well, if you knew about it, then a lot of people knew that this guy was getting bullied and nobody said anything. Did management know and just didn't do anything? Um, because if you got managers and supervisors out there and they know that somebody's being bullied and they don't stop it, besides having a conversation, you need to bring the bully in the office and write them up and say, we won't tolerate this on our job. And if you want to work here, you will not bully anybody because it can lead to other things. And now the guy that was getting bullied, he just got to the point that he didn't care. I couldn't come to work and do a great job because I got this person over here bullying me and nobody's saying anything. But everybody hears it. Somebody's seeing it, but nobody's saying anything. Well, I don't want to get involved. Well, you need to get involved. Whether you say something to the people that are doing it, you need to say something to the supervisor. You need to say something to management because that really bothered me for like 2 days. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. This is right here in my city. And you over here shooting somebody in the plant. And I know it happens all over because somebody's getting bullied. And I challenge you to stop it. Uh, if the managers aren't doing their job, they don't need to be no supervisor. You're just getting a paycheck, but you're not concerned about the employees. And that goes for management too. But bullying has got to stop, whether it's in our high schools or whether it's in the workforce. What are we doing to stop this problem? And it's a big problem. And I know it was very hurtful to hear people just come up. Hi, Tan. Love you, girl. Thank you for stopping in. Y'all, this is one of my best friends. I just love her to death. Our birthday is on the same day, so that's my girl. Uh, so thank you for stopping in and listening. Hit the like button and hit share or hit. I know you already subscribed to my channel, but for those out there that haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I want to talk about issues that nobody's talking about. It's like everybody is keeping it on the down low. Well, we're not keeping it on the down low on this show. We're going to talk about a whole lot of issues that affect our community, and nobody wants to talk about it because it's painful. So we'll get into some painful issues too that nobody wants to discuss, but I want to discuss it because if it's going to make the next generation better, then we do need to be mindful and um, bring an awareness. Just be aware of what's going on, and if it's happening, what can we do to say something to stop it, but not necessarily getting involved to the point that we are letting it escalate. So our children are important, the employees at work are important, and bullying needs to stop not only at school, but it also needs to stop in the workforce. um, But that bothered me when the guy was saying that the bigger guy kept bullying the other guy. And then after he done killed the guy at work, you got the guy's family running to the plant. But if he bullying people at work, ain't he bullying you at home? And you ain't said you better stop. Something gonna happen to you, you better stop. Everybody's not gonna accept you bullying them. It needs to stop. Nobody's going to accept you hurting their feelings. Um, Nobody is going to take that lightly. And the guy got fed up with it and he got tired of it. And he said, I'm going to jail anyway. And he went out there and got his gun, walked back in the plant and killed the guy in the plant. So I was like, wow, this is crazy. And then they're gonna shut the plant down. The guy said, well, we out of work. They took it as, well, we got a holiday for 2 or 3 days, but nobody's taking it as, how many people knew that this guy was getting bullied and nobody said nothing to the supervisor or to management? If you don't want to say nothing to the people that are doing it, at least make management, well, I seen this over here and I didn't think that was right. Tell your supervisor, tell the manager. It's their job to put a stop to bullying on the work at the workplace. Or if you see it in school, tell your children if they see some child getting bullied. Tell the teacher, tell the principal. They got a lot of administrative people around there, counselors at school, that you can go and let somebody know that a child is getting bullied. Tell somebody you trust in authority and let them know that it needs to stop, because it could escalate into something that we don't want to happen. Uh, when I look at shooting, I look at school shootings as well. And 9 times out of 10, we want to blame the gun makers. But then some of that, if you be honest, you got to look at the parents. It starts at home. We have greater control over our children. Are you finding out what's going on in your child's life? Because 9 times out of 10, I bet you, I say it over and over, when I hear things like school shootings, was that child being bullied at school and nobody did anything. And the child got tired of being bullied and nobody's saying nothing. But then we want to throw the blame at everybody, but nobody's looking at themselves. And so I'm bringing awareness to look within yourself. What did you do to stop this? You're a principal, you're a teacher. You didn't see this child getting bullied. Did you try to stop it? And so then when something crazy happens, we all got an opinion. Um, what's the solution? Maybe my solution is wrong. I would love to hear y'all's solution to the problem. But you got school shootings. How do you not know that your child got a gun? Are you not looking through their rooms, especially when they teenagers? They live in your house. You got a right to go through their room. Now you ain't got to do it while they there. But when they go to school, I'm checking drawers. I'm checking everything. I want to know what my child is doing. You should know what your child is doing 24/7. And sometimes it happens and we don't know. I get that. Our children do things and we like, what you go out there and do that for? And we're not aware. So we're not aware of everything. But I do say, um, as long as your child live in your house, you got a right to go through anything in your house. If you're paying the bills, you pay the cost to be the boss. And so if that child room is in your house, you got a right to search their room to see what your child is up to and help your child. It's your responsibility. I know I went through my children's room. Uh, just as soon as they got out the house, I'd be going through their rooms. Watch me. I want to know what you're doing. And if you're doing something, if it's in this house, I want to be aware of it. So some things I can stop. Uh, so parents, you have to be aware and be mindful. And I know our children want to think they're grown, but they're not. As long as they live in your house, you got a right to go through every room in your house as long as you paying the mortgage or paying your rent. That child is not paying any bills. And if their room is in your house, you got a right to go in there to see what is going on with your child because it starts at home. You have to try to control it and stop it. We can't look for the school to raise our children. We can't. It's our responsibility. It starts at home first. You have to raise your own child. So be mindful of that. If you need help, then you need to call First Line or whatever. I don't know what First Line is in your city, but there are people out there that can help. So seek help. Uh, if they're younger kids, start with your primary doctor and see what can be done to find help for your child. If it's something in school, start with the principal. Go straight to the top. Find out what do you need to do to help your child because you want them to succeed and you want them to go to college or in the service or be productive citizens. They're the next generation. And I feel like as parents, are we failing our children? And that's a topic that we need to be mindful of because that's something we don't want to do is fail our children. And if you see somebody bullying people at the workforce, see what you can do to bring a stop to it. Talk with the supervisor, tell the manager, somebody higher up, and it's up to them to put a stop to the bullying. So incidents like what I'm saying won't happen. Physical altercations won't break out because it leads to fighting. Uh, and we don't want that to happen. It can also lead to somebody getting killed, or it can also lead to suicide. And so those are crises that we don't want to face, but that is reality. And so I do challenge you to have the conversation with your child if they're bullying other kids and make them stop. Tell them it's not funny because they listen at their parents. We can't take our children's side when they're doing something wrong. You have to get their sides when they're doing something right. And bullying is not right. And if you're seeing it at work, tell a supervisor, tell a manager. And it's their responsibility to stop it. And so this is just part one. I'm going to probably come back in a couple of days with part two of bullying. Let me know what you think. Leave some comments. And I do want to come where people can come up and share their opinions. I would definitely like that. And so for now, I'm going to sound off and I'm going to come back and do another bullying. Let's have the conversation about bullying and what we can do to stop it. I hear so many people on TV saying stop the gun makers and it's the gun control, but it's not the gun that's out here shooting people. It's your child out here shooting people. So let's see what's going on with your child that you are not being aware of, that you're overlooking. And I'm saying bring awareness and see what's going on with your child so they can be, it won't escalate to somebody picking up a gun, shooting somebody, or it don't escalate for you, your child taking their own life because of bullying. We've got to stop it. And if you see somebody need help, let's work towards getting that individual help so it won't escalate to that. Because if they shoot somebody, they run the risk of losing their life because they're in prison. It should not have happened that way. So let's be mindful of that. I love y'all. I'm going to sound off. And I'm going to come back with part two of this because I have some more things I want to talk about with bullying and the school and how it does affect our children's academic performance when they are being bullied. I do want to share that so we can get more involved in school so our children's scores can improve and they can have a happy, productive school year without somebody bullying them, if that's what's going on. All right. And I say, everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of the day. And I love y'all. And I'm sounding off. Goodbye.